Hey everyone, so the iPad 10 is still an excellent iPad here, nearing the end of 2025. We are now in August, so second half of 2025. This is still definitely an iPad that is worth buying. So it's just gonna be a pretty quick video here. Just gonna go through a few different things. So of course, it is a tablet, so a lot of people are gonna be doing some web browsing. This is very quick still. All these things got out of the way. Like, this is going to be very quick iPad. You're not really going to notice much of a difference between this and the newer iPad 11 for most things that people do on tablets and iPads like this. And like, a lot of people will buy tablets for their kids, iPads for their kids. Do some Roblox here. We're just going to Arsenal real fast because this shows you the FPS counter. Go ahead and zoom in there. And so like, this is in max graphics. And you can see the FPS counter up top there. It sits at 60, it is maxed out at 60. It'll try to go above 60, but it's not able to. Of course, you got a little bit of dips here and there, but it's not gonna be noticeable whatsoever. I mean, it's basically gonna be stuck at 60. It might go into like the upper 50s from time to time. But for the most part, you're going to be at 60 frames per second. At least in Arsenal. Again, other games don't have the FPS counter on them, but it is still definitely a high frame rate. No matter which Roblox game you're playing. Can't find anybody. There we go. So like, it's very good for Roblox, no matter which Roblox game you're playing. And then I figured to show off a little bit of a different game here. This is Pokemon Unite. So again, we have the FPS counter up here, and it is, again, pretty much going to be locked at 60 frames per second. Again, you will get a little bit of dipping, but it's not going to be really all that noticeable. It's not going to cause any issues or anything like that. So let's play a little bit here. Let's go and find, we are in the offline mode, so we're not playing with real people, but it still gives you an idea of how it is. Again, we're just gonna mess around here for a moment. Of course, we're getting destroyed because we're literally sitting on their unit here. So they're taking like no damage, we're taking a bunch of damage. But again, 60 frames per second, no issues whatsoever. Again, pretty much any game that you can play, any game you can throw at the iPad 10, you're not gonna have issues with. This is still a very good device. And of course, it's also good for things like Facebook, you get social media that you can just lose a whole bunch of time on. I can scroll through this. It's not really gonna be stuttering or anything like that. We can see like all the different pictures. The videos are going to play. Everything just loads in very nicely. Again, not gonna have any issues. Pretty much with anything you do on an iPad, you're not gonna have any issues with. We're going to like Marketplace here. It's what I usually use Facebook for, besides from getting lost on things that I don't really need to be getting lost on. Again, everything just works. This is kind of a boring video because it just works. I mean, everything is just, it's a newer-ish iPad. It's not that old of an iPad, let's put it that way. Still has a good processor in here. It's still, everything just works the way it pretty much should work on here. It is an iPad. It's not an old iPad. So like here, we'll go into reading. So this is Calvin Hobbes. You can zoom in. This is nice and colorful for comics. And of course, you also have black and white being Calvin and Hobbes. It kind of goes back and forth. Or if you want, you also have like Betty and Veronica. This loads in a bit differently. It does it. Let's see if we can get that to zoom out. It does it panel by panel for this comic. Again, everything looks awesome. Everything loads in very well. We're just going to one of these books. Go ahead and open that on up. Again, very easily read. This is fantastic as an e-reader, as one would guess. Only issue I would say with this being an e-reader is the weight of it. It will definitely get a bit heavy over time. Depending on how you're reading, I guess. If you're reading on something like this on a desk, it's not going to matter. if you're holding on to it, it might matter, as it's definitely going to get heavy. Looking at the camera very fast, I know some people do use iPads for cameras. I don't think too many do these days, but if you do, shout out to you. So we have one-time zoom. It will not zoom out any further than that. So one-time zoom, there is no 0.5 or 0.6 times zoom. And when you zoom in all the way, you are stuck at only 5 times zoom. So it's not going to be, it's not a very big zoom range on the iPad. But with that said, pictures look decent enough. You don't have too many complaints since you are taking videos or pictures from an iPad. Not gonna be good as a camera, or most cameras are these days. But again, if you're going to use an iPad, you're going to have some have to deal with some stuff. But it does look good. It works just fine. So of course, yes, the iPad 10 is still very much worth buying and using here in 2025, nearing the end of 2025. The last half of 2025 here. Still excellent for gaming, still excellent for just general use of an iPad or a tablet. Again, this thing is fantastic. I do love this blue. It looks a lot better in real life than you guys see through the camera. The camera messes up the color, but this thing is beautiful. Yeah, it looks good. Nice and thin too for an iPad, for a tablet. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Yes, it is still worth buying in my opinion. Always has been. It probably will be still good for at least a couple more years, I would imagine. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Hope you have a good one. See you next time. Goodbye.